Hey, everybody, your designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home. And we've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today. So let's get started.
Today is episode 228, Decorating with Succulents.
And the show notes for today's episode can be found at decoratingtipsandtricks.com/228.
Okay, succulents have been in for a while, and they've been very popular for a while, and they don't seem like they're going anywhere. So this is exciting. And succulents are, if you don't have, if you're not good at growing things, and if things like to turn that are supposed to be green turn brown on you and don't do well and die, succulents are the plants that you should be decorating with. Because
well, and if you can't
amazing.
even keep them alive, here's my suggestion. Have you seen the cupcakes that are decorated and the icing looks like succulents?
No.
I want every one of those.
Yeah, I follow some girl who does that on Instagram. It's the craziest thing.
I want those.
Oh
I
my
want
gosh.
to eat them.
You'll have to tell me who that is because I'd love to do that.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to look for that. That is so cute.
Speaking of succulents, I just went to a breakfast this morning before we started taping, and we got like a lovely gift, and I got a little succulent in a concrete container. It's so adorable.
Oh. Well, that's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great party favor, for example.
Oh, and it's something I
That's
can
so
perch
funny
on.
you should say that. Laura went to one of her friends turned 15, and she had this is the time here in this area where the girls all have a brunch.
Oh.
So she had a brunch, and they all get dressed up. You know, they kind of overdress. They look like they're going to the prom, but they're going to brunch. You know, and they're wearing their mom's shoes and whatever. They're so
it's like
cute.
it's like the modern version of a tea.
Yeah, exactly. So she came home with a little succulent that the girl had made, and she put them all in tiny little mason jars and tied with little twine. She was like, I was like, wow, you know, she must be reading my blog. She had glitter sprinkled on the little leaves of it. It was so cute. And of course, Laura named it, and we've been taking good care of it and the whole thing.
Oh yeah. When you name it, you don't want it to die.
You gotta name it. Yeah.
But you know what I saw on Pinterest? Somebody used succulents as their bridal bouquet. And I'm thinking this is not a good precedent to set because, you know, all these, you know, the Victorians, all the flowers had meaning. And what do succulents mean? Yeah, I don't need to be watered. That's what they mean. They mean I don't need to be watered. Do you want that in your bridal bouquet?
Yes, because
I don't
have
need
you
love.
seen them?
I don't need love.
I don't need love.
I don't need. You don't need to water me.
No,
that means I'm not. What it means
low
is
maintenance.
That's exactly right.
Is that what it means? Low maintenance.
Well, yeah. I would think so. That hey, I'm not going to be a fading flower on the vine,
exactly,
and I'm going to stick through this
long term.
Yep,
through thick and thin.
You don't want to advertise yourself too much as low maintenance. I'm just.
I know. I have to say, I kind of think I am
not
mistake.
a low maintenance girl.
Yeah, I think I advertised myself as way too low maintenance.
With Peter,
I definitely did.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
We're like,
I'm too much like, I could do that. That's not a problem. No, I got that. No, here, I can do that with my foot. No, and Peter's fabulous, but yeah, I think I came out of the box way too low maintenance. I didn't.
Well, and it was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying about that, but I mean, like, okay, well, I'm going to spend I'll be back in 3 hours. I have to get my sunshine put back in my hair, and you know. Are we going out to dinner? Like if I visited him because we didn't live in the same town. Well, you have to give me 2 hours because I have to do my nails. I mean, he knew off the bat, and he's the most low maintenance person. I'm so surprised that he took the bait.
Well,
I'm shocked.
Balance is
Did
the
you
universe.
use succulents in your bridal bouquet?
But if I got married again, I would do things so different. I'd have such a cool wedding. I would probably do succulents and then do like pearl and diamond picks and things in it. So it's I think that they means are beautiful.
I might not need water, but I'm going to need a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. So what is a succulent? I mean, some people are confused by that. You know, I'm the designated gardener here. So just bear with me because I think that we should all really be on the same page and know what's going on.
So I think that's smart.
bunch of posts on succulents on my blog, and I can link some of them. But, succulents are not the same as cactus, and I'm sure a lot of you realize that, but they are different. They actually are in a very broad group of plants. There's 40 botanical families that are considered succulents. And what a succulent is, it's a plant that has cells in them that retains water. Now, for you and I and, all our gal friends, retaining water is not a great thing.
No, not
But
for
if you're
us.
a plant that people are not going to, tend to very often, or you're in the
climate
back of a parking
mm-hmm.
lot somewhere, or you find yourself in Arizona or in Southern California.
That's right.
That's a great thing to be able to do. So some succulents have these cells in their roots and other have them in their stems. And I won't go into the different botanical names and all that. That's a little too heavy duty. But so it's just, you need to understand what a succulent is and then what a cactus is. A cactus is a plant that retains water, and it also has areoles. And they're parts of the plant on their spines and the branches. And then the flowers might sprout from them. So they kind of look like small, fluffy cotton lumps. And all cactuses have them. But while succulents that aren't cactuses don't. So anyway, that's all you need to know. Succulents can retain water. Some of them have it in their roots. Some of them have it in their stems. And they're beautiful. And there's so many different ones that you can use and incorporate. And some of them they're not spiky like cactuses. Because some of my clients, if I'm doing garden design for them, they're like, I'm like, let's do something drought tolerant. And they're like, I don't like cactus. But succulents are not cactus. Really?
See, and you can grow
Some of them
outside.
are, but not all of them.
Right. And see, you can grow them outside. Here they're seasonally, like, here in the farmland, people put them in their old boots. You know what you've seen that they fill their boot up with dirt and stick, like, if the toe's missing or whatever, they stick cactuses or chicks and hens and things like that in it. But it's nothing that we would plant in the ground because, they would freeze. So it would have to be someplace that does not freeze or get really cold for outside. But inside, they're amazing. They last forever. And I think one of the most fun projects I've done with succulents is I took a Cinderella pumpkin, but it was like one of the greeny blue ones. And I put just a tiny little bit I took the top off, the stem off of it. And in that divot,
did you put the stem in your underwear drawer?
No, remember that?
Remember that episode?
Yeah,
I remember you said you stored them in your underwear.
Yeah,
you found them there.
Yes, I did. But
that's the only reason I bring it up.
Well, I'm not going to say.
Yeah,
never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
That was sort of weird.
Yeah. So somebody could misconstrue what I was about to say. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. No, it wasn't in there. Anyway, I took the stem of it off. And then I filled the top of it with all these succulents in different colors of green. And there's these little ones called baby tears that look just like little pearls.
Oh, that sounds
actually.
sad. Baby tears.
And they drip down the sides of the pumpkin, and that they lasted.
I saw
forever.
it. It was
lasted
beautiful.
through Christmas. I took them out and put them on just like a saucer and stuck them on the top of my washer. And I thought, I can't deal with this now. I'm in the middle of decorating. Christmas came and went. And like February, they're just still like living there.
Really?
Okay.
They were still fine?
They were fine.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the key
was
to
Bobby in there watering them?
No.
I
hope not.
No, I don't think so.
No, because the key to succulents and some cactus is restraint with regard to loving and taking care.
Many, many months, zero water? That seems like, wow.
It's depending on how well saturated you made the soil and whether your soil is the kind that they like. I mean, I wouldn't suggest many months, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was still thriving.
Well, I've also...
Especially inside.
Yeah.
Right.
I've also
big difference.
cut succulent leaves to propagate new succulents, and you sort of have to wait till they dry out.
Mm-hmm.
That took forever.
Oh.
Right, because it was retaining the water inside.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I'll save some money because, when I do a project, I usually have a whole bunch of them. Well, first of all, they are not that expensive. And second of all, they take forever to dry out. So if you want to do a project like for November, now's the time to cut them.
Wow.
Well, to propagate, yeah.
To propagate.
Yeah. But they're just like little jewels. I buy mine oftentimes at Home Depot. They have, maybe $2.50 and $3 or something. You get the small ones. And I love to put different ones together. They're just so pretty in the different shapes. They're so architectural. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor. And I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
Well, and there's so many beautiful colors to work with too. And probably my favorite project I've seen, I haven't done this personally, but I don't know, Kelly, you might have, is the wreath with the succulents planted on it that you hang on a door or a wall. Yeah. I adore that.
Yeah. So pretty. The best pot, if you're going to pot succulents, is a clay one with a big drainage hole. Because you would imagine if somebody doesn't like to get a ton of water, they don't want their feet to be sitting, their roots to be sitting in water. But, they're really pretty happy whatever you put them in, as long as you just don't overwater them. Just resist. Try not to kill it with kindness. And there are special cactus or succulent mixes that you can buy, just like you would buy a potting soil, which have more concentration of sand, which helps with the drainage. So that's a good idea. If you're planting them outside, whether in the ground or in bigger pots, you can even just mix in some sand, buy a cheap bag of sand and mix it in with your potting soil if you don't want to spend the extra on the specialized potting soil for these plants. But gosh, I put them in so many different things. They don't need a lot of space. And they have a very, they have a very small, very tiny, wimpy root system. I was so surprised. Yeah, the root systems are generally not too great. So I've put them in little vintage things like a sifter, which was one great thing I put them in because they loved the idea of, how it was it drained so well. I mean, every time I even gave them a little bit of water, I had to bring it over to the sink, but they looked so cute in a vintage sifter.
Like a colander, you mean?
No, like the kind that
like
you
a sifter, like
squeeze
flour?
with your hand. Yeah, like you do with a flour.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, they were so cute in there, and they loved it because they got the drainage was fabulous.
I saw one in a meat grinder, but it was kind of painful to look at because I thought, oh no, it's going to get ground up.
Well,
I know.
I'm planning to correspond this podcast with a post on Stone Gable, and I saw this done, and it was so pretty. I saw them planted in big conch shells.
Oh yeah.
I thought yes, summer.
Yes.
Now, not that I do a lot of beachy stuff here, but I just thought, wow, like on my coffee table, that would look so pretty as part of a vignette until the end of the summer.
Oh yeah. My favorite thing that I've done with succulents is we had a fountain, which we brought here, but at my other house, I wanted this fountain so badly, and it was not a giant fountain. So I had bought the little drain that went, like the pump that went with it. And gosh, I went through 3 or 4 of those pumps, and I would keep going back to my garden center, and the guy would give me a new one. Those little pumps just don't really work. There's just like not enough water, or, the water dries out and then the pump is like, and then it breaks, because it runs out of the water or evaporates or something. So it was just never going to work out. And I thought, I love the idea of the tinkling sound and stuff, but this is not the Bellagio fountain. This is not going to be working for my house. So I filled it with the special type of soil and some sand, and I planted it with succulents because I knew it was an area that would get a lot of sun. Plus, it didn't have a lot of depth where I could put soil. So it was going to be particularly dry unless I was on it every day. So I didn't want to put something that was going to be a plant that would be challenging under those conditions. So I put these succulents in there. Oh my goodness. I loved it. And I did it again here, and it looks so pretty. They're so interesting. And then I put pebbles on the top, just some pretty pebbles that you could buy in a bag, again, at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. And so that helps retain the moisture. I mean, maybe I water it every couple of weeks. I think of the squirt it with a hose and bam, and it just looks fantastic. So if anybody out there has one of those fountains, in fact, my friend, I don't know, Annie, if you're listening today, but my friend Annie recently did this at her house. She had one of those lion fountains against the wall, and same kind of thing. It didn't work, and she didn't want to get it fixed. And I don't know if she bought it vintage or it was at the house or something like that. And she filled it with succulents, and it looks fabulous.
How beautiful. And especially if you can keep that out all year round.
How about putting them in a little toy truck? I saw that. And it was so cute in the bed of the truck.
Stop it.
Because so many of them are so small. They just look perfect.
Oh yeah. They're so cute. So cute.
We have the cutest greenhouse around here called Henry's, and it's like down in the country, and it's only open on some days, but it's almost like a cult following down here because all people that love really kitschy, fun, unusual things go, and they have like their spring open
it's
spring
like the
day.
hipster
it's
nursery.
So cool. They put succulents in coffee pots, vintage coffee pots, vintage colanders, just about everything, and they are done so well. They're really eye-catching.
Oh yeah, so, like how cute in a little teacup. Oh my gosh, that would be a cute thing for if you were having some girls over or something as a little takeaway. Right.
Yeah. And a lot of times you can get those at the thrift store, or even little glasses. They're so cheap at the thrift store.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, as you're saying, like, because they don't have these big root systems, it's not like you're seeing, because sometimes you put a plant in something that's clear and you're like, ooh, really? Like, I don't really want to be seeing all the dirt even though I love dirt, I love soil, I should say. I don't love dirt.
Well, how about if you
soil.
spray painted the glass? Then you wouldn't see it.
There you could. Or just buy that teacup. That's going to be easier.
Yeah, teacup.
Yeah.
Well, here's the one thing I think we wanted just a little, just to talk about because it's a little cautionary. Succulents aren't as hardy as far as manhandling them. They break easily because they're so full of water. So when you're transplanting them or you're putting them in something, you want to be very, very gingerly with them because it's so easy to snap off a leaf or to break off like something that trails down. And those are the things you don't want, it takes a long time for them to grow. So you want it to look really pretty. So be very careful if you're going to take it out of a pot and plant it somewhere else. They do nicely, but again, they break very easily.
That's a really good point, because sometimes that'll happen. You'll find a perfect one and you bring it home, and then you go to transplant it, and then like two of the little not really leaves, but they would come off on one side, and then it's not symmetrical anymore, and then you don't want to put it in your little container. Yeah. And it does take a while for them to grow back. So that's a really great tip, to be careful with them. Just maybe, they usually come in those little, if you buy the small ones that we're talking about to put in these tiny little containers, they come in those small things. Just, if you have your gardening gloves on or just in your hand, just turn it over. Don't pick it up. Just, hold it in your other hand and just kind of lift the bottom off and gingerly plant it.
You're so smart. The other thing is, if you, once you have it, if you have like an old big serving spoon, scoop it with that. Don't pick it up like that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? Don't pick it up by the plant, because you're going to damage it. And they're just so precious and they're so cute, and you don't want to hurt it because you want them to be perfect. But let's say that one of your leaves falls off. Oh, dearie me. So I'm going to just talk for a minute about propagation so you know how to do this, because it's really, really simple. Let's say you've got a couple broken leaves. So you're going to take the leaves and put them, the top of my washer seems to be the place to put succulents that are in need for some reason. And I just left them there so they dry up a little bit. You don't want them to shrivel up, but you want them to get a little bit dry, and you want that raw edge to sort of scar over a little bit. And then what you're going to do is put them in a dish with potting medium and lay them down. Just lay them down and just put sprinkle a little. Before you do that, just get a little tiny moist, just a tiny bit. And you're going to just lay them on there. Now, this is going to take a while, but eventually it will, that scarred end will start to root right that you're laying right on top. You don't have to stick it into the soil. Will actually root into the soil. And all of a sudden you'll see a tiny rosette come out of that. That's what the little leaves are called. And it looks just like a tiny baby, whatever the plant it is. It doesn't come out with the leaf. It almost comes like out as the whole little thing. Then you can cut it off from the donor leaf, and you have yourself a whole little succulent.
Oh, a little baby.
Yeah, easy peasy. So if you really are into succulents, that's a great way to keep a supply going.
Yeah. The other thing that you can do is find, as we're saying, innovative containers for them. I did one where it was the end cap. I love to go through the hardware store and think of things, repurpose things in the hardware store, right? Because sometimes the parts of things, like this was a end cap of an HVAC system. So all like that silver stuff you see in in one of those aisles, you're like, wow. And I was like, wow, well, what can I do with that? And they're fluted, almost like a tart pan, but they're deeper. And it would be something that would go on the end cap of, one of those heating and air conditioning tubes that you would see. So, you could find that every hardware store has an aisle like that with all that kind of stuff in it. So you go down that aisle, and then I just had this brainstorm, because the succulents don't need a lot of room. They don't have as we're saying, their roots are shallow. They don't need a lot of space. So this thing costs like $3.50 or something like that. So I got this great big dish. It was probably like 12 inches across, fairly shallow, maybe 3 or 4 inches. And I filled it with some pebbles on the bottom and then the soil. And then I was able to put a lot of these little babies in there. So I made this whole design of them in there, and it was fabulous. And it cost me like nothing. And they lasted and lasted and lasted. And it was just so cool to see them growing in that. And you could move it all around. It was great as a centerpiece. It was, great outdoors or indoors. So I highly recommend you just kind of roaming the aisles of the hardware store and thinking of ways that you can incorporate some of these kind of odd bits and pieces that, workmen might use, or, somebody might be parts of your house, and turn them into great containers for succulents, because they, as we're saying, they don't need a lot of room and they're pretty happy everywhere.
Now you make me want to go right to my local nursery. I'm thinking about, I just cleaned out a lot of my cabinets again. You know how I do that I clean out everything sort of in a circuit. So I'm back into my kitchen and I'm going through everything, and I found a white soup tureen that I love. It's, ironstone. And I have all my soup tureens now. A lot of them are in a buffet that has open glass shelving, like bottom, a new one that I got in my dining room. And so there's this wayward one. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it look gorgeous if I did what you're talking about and put those on the top, and somehow fit it into my soup tureen?
Oh, yeah.
And had nothing but all kinds of different greens.
I think that would be beautiful. And then even a smaller version of that. I have some little small tiny tureen, not for soup. It's much smaller, more of a condiment size. Same thing. Or even a sugar bowl.
Yeah.
A small sugar bowl, take the lid off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that would be fantastic.
Or those mint julep cups, the silver ones.
Yeah.
And you can buy those new. Those are pretty inexpensive. Or if you're lucky enough to find a vintage one that maybe has, sometimes they gave those out at souvenirs at, dances or events or something. Sometimes there's something written on them. I mean, I have a few of them from the Huntington Ball, which was maybe at the Huntington Gardens. I don't even know. That's something that's around here. But succulents, I love them. Again, one of our fave words, juxtaposed. So succulents are kind of like, they're low maintenance. They're kind of a little, I don't want to say rough, but they're not.
They're cash.
They're cash, exactly.
They're cash, exactly.
And then you put them with something really elegant. Love that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
yeah. I
pretty.
think it's a great mix. Yeah. So maybe some little silver plated little bowl or something. I think it would be a perfect way to mix the elegant with the rustic.
Yes.
And I know that I'm partial to white things, but I think the greens of the succulents look so beautiful with anything white. If they're put in something white, that just shows them off beautifully.
Oh, I think that would be a great combination. And I've seen some succulents that are pink that are just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And then, they'll surprise you, and that there'll just be this little thing that comes up, and all of a sudden this beautiful flower appears.
Yes.
So pretty. Well, something else that is so pretty is the autumn issue of the Country Sampler Farmhouse Style magazine.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to mention that to everyone because, lo and behold, on page 19, there is a full page ad, and it's not really an ad. It's a
feature
for decorating tips and tricks, the podcast. So they're talking about us there, and we wanted to tell all of you girls that we love Country Sampler magazine, and we would love it even if they didn't feature us, but they did. And they also have featured us in their. They do this kind of really cool web surfing feature every issue, and that's on page 4. And they give you all these different sites on the internet that they think are great, and you should check out.
Yeah,
and we are the
really
number
cool
one
issue.
there. Yeah. So,
and I think, is that the one you have your bolster DIY in, Anita?
I think yes.
And I have my how to make a table runner using burlap ribbon.
This thing.
Yeah,
wow.
We love it.
But
So
it's
pick
great.
it up.
And just for a heads up, we Country Sampler is just, they found out about decorating tips and tricks. They're big supporters of the podcast. They love it. The editor, Susan, she loves it. And we're working together with them to put together a little deal for you guys, a special deal, so you can get a percentage off a subscription, because I believe that they're going to start to make this farmhouse issue and actually a subscription a part of their magazine rather than a specialty magazine. So look for it in your grocery store. I know they have it in as my daughter's called, the regular grocery store. You know, it's not it's not TJ Maxx. It's not Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
And it's not Whole Foods. It's the regular. And so our regular Ralph's carries country sampler. So your regular may also carry it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's right. Trader Joe's doesn't have any magazines, I don't think.
No, they don't.
You have to go to a regular one. That's right.
A regular one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, they have those little cards, which are kind of cute. They are cute. That's the only, I think, sort of, you know, that kind of aisle that they have at Trader Joe's. It's just like a little end cap at mine. But yeah, Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. I love working with succulents. You know what I don't like, and I have to say, I think it's great. I'm all about low water and all of that, but I'm not a huge fan of a completely zero-scaped type of landscape. And we have a lot of that here. For myself, I don't think I can appreciate it, but I love incorporating the succulents in with other flowers.
Oh, yes.
And because people, you know, as I was saying in the beginning, they're not cactus. I mean, there's some overlap, but they really don't need 12 hours of sun a day. In fact, they don't really like that so much. They do need a certain amount of sun, and I can't give you the complete guide for every succulent out there, but generally they are not going to need so much more sun than a regular annual or a rose or anything like that. So whereas their needs as far as water are lower, you can try to incorporate them into your regular planting beds. Depending on where you live, you may lose them over the winter or want to transplant them and bring them inside. But, we're talking today a lot about how you can decorate with them, but you can also use them outside in your planting beds, mixed in a mixed border or something like that. They really look pretty spectacular. I mean, I wouldn't put the teeny tiny little ones that you could fit in a teacup, but maybe you get the bigger size ones, a gallon size succulent would do beautifully mixed in with some iceberg
I don't
roses
think we
or
have a
something
gallon
like that.
sized.
Really? You don't?
No.
Wow, I wonder if you could buy something like that on the internet.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? Even if you had like a pot, just a small potted plant of summer annuals, how beautiful would that look with a few of them tucked in there? Although I think their watering needs would be so different. So I don't know.
But they're
if they
not.
would survive.
Yeah. I mean, you have to get a plant that also,
doesn't need much water.
Doesn't need a ton of water.
Right.
But as we know, for the one that you had till February, I mean, they're pretty forgiving. Either way, they'd rather not be drowned. But it's different when you plant a plant in a garden bed outside, where you're going to get a lot of drainage, than if you're planting it in a contained universe in a pot inside, right? So if you water it too much inside and that you don't have good drainage, there's no place for the water to go, so the roots are sitting in the water. But outside, it's a little bit different. Yeah. So give it a try. If you're thinking about them outside, I would definitely say you could give that a whirl. And
now, I'm sorry. Now, you are a seasoned gardener and you garden and things don't die. Anita and I love the idea of gardening. I love to be out in my vegetables and my pots and things, but bring plants inside, not so much. And these are very successful inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except not in a cloche. I actually got some in a cloche, and they got pretty yucky.
Well,
quick.
I did one for a photo, and I knew it was going to be too moist in there. I knew I had to take it out, but I was so busy. It stayed in there a little too long.
How many comments did you get saying?
I even said at the time, I know you're not supposed to do this, but I just did it for the picture, and then I forgot about it, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, no, they don't like to be like that. They prefer to be dry. Now, we know the rule, Yvonne's rule, from 3 feet away. But I have to say, succulents are probably the easiest plant to get right in a faux.
Because they sort of don't look real as it is.
That's true. They don't. They sort of don't look real.
You can't tell. Yeah, you can't tell whether. Yeah, they all look fake. That's right.
Yeah. So I've seen, even like really low priced, pretty good looking fakes. And if you're putting in them in a little pot and you're putting them on a shelf in your bathroom, or, maybe a trio on your mantle, like, I wouldn't say a defiant no to that, even though you could probably keep real ones alive in any condition. But, I've seen really, really good ones at Pottery Barn. They're doing the fake succulents really well. It seems like they kind of went heavy into the faux plants.
And I have 2.
You do?
Faux succulents from Pottery Barn, and I love them.
So they are as good as I thought. Yeah.
They are. And I have them from another shop, a local shop, that are actually planted. The ones I got from Pottery Barn sort of got that long artichoke stem sort of on it that you can stick into a pot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So I can put that under my cloche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put that under your cloche.
You could. And I have 2 other faux ones that actually are up in a guest bedroom that I got at a local shop, and they really look good. So they're cute. And I don't mind, as long as you can't tell from 3 feet away that they're not fake. You just have to dust them off. That gives it away.
Oh yeah, you could probably just wash
when
them
they
off,
get dusty.
right? Can you just rinse them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, spritz them with some water. I think that would work.
Yeah. Well, I'm heading actually to the garden center today for a client, but I was gonna do her pots over because just after you do the spring ones and then they just get tired and the stuff it gets too hot.
Oh yeah.
But it's gonna be 106 here on Friday.
Hot there?
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
I thought it didn't get that hot.
No,
there.
it gets. I'm in the desert. I mean, it gets hot, but it's been so cool and beautiful. It's really gonna kind of
well, I'm jarring. In the rainforest over here, so
I'm with you. I'm sitting here and it's 100 degrees.
It's like you're under a cloche all the time.
Yeah. Well, I will. Yeah, I'm always under a cloche here. That's right. But Houston, I will say, doesn't get that hot. It's so humid. It does keep the temperature down. So you can. It's just pick your poison. Do you want it hot and dry, or do you want it a little less hot,
and dry,
but more humid?
Definitely.
Yeah, because I know people would go to Arizona and you'd think it's 120, but it's dry.
I'm sorry, 120. Stick your head in a 120 degree oven.
Well, I'm exaggerating.
It's hot. That's hot.
Sure. No, that is. Yeah. No, I'm planning. I said to Peter, I'm like, oh, maybe because it's kind of like a weird week anyway. You're like, are people on vacation? Are they not on vacation? So I'm trying to encourage him to take the day off and we can work on the basement. I'm like, that would be a perfect day to be in the basement. It's 106 outside. Let's go down to the basement.
The succulents may love it. We don't. So stay cool.
That's true.
Right. Full home. Until next time.
Hey, everybody. We want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com. Or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.